born and bred Londoner. This is my fourth book on London, and it's my kind of aim to encourage people to go out and discover my wonderful city for themselves, maybe tourists or maybe people that live in London. And it's just a fun place. There's this I'm 73, but I thought I knew London really well, but every so often I find a whole load of new different things. And it's just great fun to blake my way into unusual places and meet different people. There are a real cross-section of things like the RNLL lifeboat station on the Thames. It's the busiest lifeboat station in the country, yet the sad thing is that they're quite often trying to save people that don't want to be saved and are diving under the boat.
It seems like you're a real optimist about London. You speak to a lot of people that live here now, and they go, oh, it's all pretty grim. Things are a bit of a struggle, and it can be quite a dreary place sometimes, and a tough place to live for a lot of people. But in your books, you take a sort of different angle at these new places that we don't often think about, or we wouldn't care to go to, because we are Londoners and we live here and we take so much for granted. Is that what you try and do with your books?
Yeah, I just want to encourage people. London is a wonderful city, and it's so old, and there's so modern things in it. It's a joy to me to try and share my London with a reader. It's difficult for me to explain, but it's just this cross section of things. Today I'm talking to from God's Own Junkyard in Walthamstow, and this is almost like it. You could almost say it's a museum. It's full of all these wonderful neon signs, which you can have made, which you can buy, which you can rent. You can also have a party here. It also has a marriage license. So it's, how many people know about places like this? St Paul's, which is a place that I guess most tourists go to, and probably lots of Londoners visit it. But I managed to discover the Dean's Staircase, which is hidden away in the corner. A kind of amazing thing. It's features in Harry Potter, and it has this spiral staircase where all of the steps are stuck into the wall, and it just sort of hangs there. But if people know they're there, then they can go and discover them for themselves. The Ace Cafe on the North Circular, the picture that I took there was on their annual reunion, where all these beautiful bikes park outside and they have a chat to each other, and then sort of lunchtime, they all get on their bikes and ride to Brighton. So I'm ended up sitting there in a completely empty car park.
The old phrase from Oscar Wilde, a man who's tired of London is a man who's tired of life. Will you ever run out of ideas and photos you want to take of our capital city to stop making these books? Are you ever going to exhaust it and become bored of what the city has to offer?
Well, no, because right now I've probably got a couple of hundred things that I'm investigating. I do have one problem that one of the things I really wanted people to get involved with is democracy in this country, and I have been trying for years to be able to take one picture in the public gallery in the House of Lords and in the Commons.
And finally, your books are so bright and beautiful, and they show such a lovely side of the city, the unexplored side, such as your new book. But do you ever think of wanting to do a slightly darker one, where you take pictures of the sort of worst side of things, the injustices you might see around us, problems with democracy, for example, like you were just saying there? Would you ever do something like that, or is that not your thing?
No, I think no, because as a born and bred Londoner, I kind of think London is the most fabulous city, and I want to encourage people to realise that and go and visit themselves, to get out and do a bit of walking. There's the wonderful open house weekend every year where you have the opportunity of seeing amazing places, although it's quite difficult and fully booked. But we are living in a wonderful city, I know, in quite difficult times. But a lot of the things that I do photograph are in a bad way, or are closing. The Claremont Club, which is next to Annabelle's in Berkeley Square, it's just now empty, no more tables or anything. And, that was the former home of Lord Lucan. They're kind of things that you get to see what it was really like behind these places, with the most amazing staircase. Crosby Moran Hall in Chelsea, which was the home of Thomas More, which was moved brick by brick to Chelsea from Gate. It's just the most amazing place, a period place that has been saved. And that's one of the places that's very difficult to get into, but it is an amazing thing. So at least I can share that in the book.